Black lives matter. Let's talk about it. Yeah, we can talk about the white privilege, but I ain't even trying to get into that. Can't say shit about the black oppression if you never had to experience that. They say make America great again, get the fuck out of here cause y'all know that it's whack. Let's not talk about how they whitewash black history and get to the facts. Out here living in the cold world, I'm just trying to stay alive in it. Out here trying to beat the system that's trying to put all our lives on a time limit. Feel like I can't ever leave a crib till my waistband got a 9 in it. Crazy living in the burbs and I still don't feel safe not to ride with it. What you forgot when they torture, degraded and call people niggas while whipping they back? What you forgot about lynching when people of color was forced to go sit in the back? What you forgot about Wall Street when they massacre people just cause they were black? Yeah, I know it's been 100 years and my peoples have never got justice for that. How the fuck would you feel every day feeling your life was under attack? Cops kill white same rate as black people, then tell me how you would react. Instead of trying to push a narrative, do some research and just look up the stats. All men were created equal, it's bullshit and y'all know that it's cat. Try listening to understand, then I promise we can all gather. But don't tell me that I'm racist just because I say black lives matter. You say black oppression ain't real just because you never learned about it? Come get all these smoke, buckle up, let's talk about it. Cut the bullshit, cut the cameras, sick and tired of the double standard. Big corporations wanna pander just cause they don't wanna get the slander. We had enough and we want some answers, doing this one for the ancestors. I got the drive of the black mamba, fighting with the heart of the Black Panther. Stop listening to bullshit from Fox News on your big screen. Black on black crime, 13% of the population, yeah bitch please. What was that energy for these bitches trying to sleep with your kids under 16? Or these sick fucks that randomly slaughter people when the AR-15? They call us criminals when the whites do 69% of the crime. It ain't got shit to do with race. Goofy is called proximity crime. Bigger the city, the higher the poverty, you get a higher percent of the crime. It's the media keeping you blind. Stop being racist and get with the time. To all the white folks not racist, I got nothing against you. I ain't holding you responsible for no slave owning that you didn't do. Just understand that we traumatized from all the shit that we've been through. Hope one day the middle ground is all something we can get to. Try listening to understand, then I promise we can all gather. But don't tell me that I'm racist just because I say black lives matter. You say black oppression ain't real just because you never learned about it? Come get all these smoke, buckle up, let's talk about it. To all the soldiers and allies that joined the fight, I appreciate it. Fall of America came together, imagine how much better we can make it. When they signed a civil rights bill, when they couldn't separate us by race, then they found a way to divide us by your political affiliation. Every 4 years, same bullshit, don't be the sucker to eat that. It's black folks who don't believe in racism just because they never seen that. Rest in peace, Jonathan Price, it took for him losing his life to see that. We want police reform and justice, how many times we gotta preach that? Fuck the high road, call me a nigga, I'm beating your ass and I mean that. You say something, then stand on it, don't be a bitch and delete that. Hey Donald Trump, fuck your platinum plan, your hand down, you can keep that. We just out here trying to live the same dream that Martin Luther King had. All black people not criminals, all white people not racist. Every black woman not hood, and every white woman not basic. Both sides gotta stop judging, both sides gotta stop hating. If we don't come together right now, 4 years we will not make it.
4 years.
If we don't come together right now, 4 years we will not make it.
Yeah. Come get all the smoke. Greetings, salutations, all those things associated with, oh, how the hell are you? Welcome, welcome. This is, dun, dun, this is me turning down this background. This is TNathan, and you are tuned in to Conversations with TNathan on this, what is this, the third day of December? Third day of December? Yeah, third day of December. How many days? 22 days to Xmas and 30, 22, 27 days to the end of the year. What's up, Jay? Greetings, salutations. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. I have questions. So, you know what we're going to do? We're going to talk about after we go over some things right quick. Daniel Penny, the Marine who murdered Jordan Neely in New York on the subway. His jury didn't come to a decision today. The case was turned over to the jury today. They didn't come to a decision. So what we have going on there is that tomorrow the jury will reconvene. Yeah, so we have that going on. So there's no decision. Also today in Illinois, in a accordance with Sean P. Grayson being released from jail pending his trial in the murder of Sonia Massey. You remember I told you last week and yesterday that the appellate court had told the lower court that they need to schedule a hearing to talk about his pretrial release conditions, whether it be an ankle monitor or his own recognizance, whatever. So the court, the lower court, asked for an extension to talk to the Illinois Supreme Court. And so that hearing that was scheduled for Friday is now going to be put off for 35 days as far as the appellate court telling them they had to release him, to give them 35 days to see if the Illinois State Supreme Court will hear their claim. So 35 days puts us into January before they will decide the conditions or if he's still going to be released. They let him out because he has no, they didn't. They didn't. Greetings, salutations. They didn't let him out. That's what I'm telling you. That they set off the hearing now that was supposed to take place Friday for pre-release conditions to January, I believe, the 23rd. Because they're saying that they're giving the Supreme Court of Illinois time to weigh in on the appellate court's decision that said that the lower court judge erred by ordering him held in pretrial confinement until trial. So there is that. That's what's going on there. And protests around the world have really shown me that most of y'all aren't about shit in this country when it comes to protests. Yeah, I know I lost a lot of followers yesterday when I said this. I really don't care. Jordan, because I'm basically about to move to either South Korea or Georgia, and I don't mean Georgia in the United States. Georgia, and citizens in Georgia, and they're fighting over the treatment they're receiving at the hands of Vladimir Putin, took to the streets, not just to march, but to fire at police officers that were trying to keep them in control. Yes, we are watching the rest of the world tell you all that we really don't protest right. I haven't had anybody really protesting with me on the level that we protest on since Minnesota. And all this talk about threats to democracy, and most of you all just sitting online talking about it. Anyway, I say what I said. Also, South Korea, the president declared martial law earlier today, and earlier today people took to the streets in front of the presidential palace to get him, and martial law was lifted. It is amazing watching marginalized groups of people in other countries fight against their government in the way that Americans only talk about it. It is amazing. Um, I remember watching South Africa doing apartheid and how no matter what everybody else was saying, and I watched Winnie Mandela leading the physical charge of how to stand up. And I listened to most of these people spend hours on day, and they don't even know how to spell Winnie Mandela. I am done. I am so done. I'm so done begging people to fight for their liberation. Um, um, yeah, I'm done. I'm done asking people to fight for their liberation because I realize most of y'all don't want to fight. You all just want a few more crumbs from the table. So I'm just sticking with those people who think they who do show they want to make a difference. Everybody else just hits different now after I watch countries that are really oppressed fight back in the manner and access that they have. And to think that they also, and I can acknowledge, they actually fight back in a frame that they got from Africa, from black people on the continent standing up to the colonizer. And everybody here running around like, what do we do? What do we do? It just amazed me. It just amazed me. It amazes me that we spent over 107 days talking about threats to democracy, and everybody now is trying to talk about kumbaya moments. Yeah, I watch the same people that were talking about the threat to democracy that this country faced, and the best they can do now is talk about it. because you didn't believe it in the first place. I watched people, and I will go and you follow me, you know, I never really talked about Project 2025 because I read it, all 922 pages, and I saw people having live after live talking about it like they hadn't read it. And I stayed out of those lives because most of the people that I was watching talking about Project 2025 didn't read it and didn't watch in any videos Agenda 47. None. They were just pulling shit out of their ass. And now I'm wondering where are those same people at? Those same people that spend so much time talking about Project 2025 and how it would be a disaster for the country, they have made peace with the idea that they didn't know what they were talking about in the first place because they really miss it just amazes me how many things I've heard people talking about and they didn't even have the details of what they were talking about down because Project 2025 was a boogeyman, but the people on the streets were asking about, well, what about inflation, what about this, what about that, and y'all boogeymaned them to death with Project 2025, and now you're nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. At no time did you talk about a plan to counter anything in Project 2025 because you didn't know what you were talking about. But now you're abdicated. All these people and all their concerns that you didn't address for 107 days, you all are still not addressing their concerns and have the nerve to act like you knew what you were talking about. I said it yesterday. Most of you all didn't know government had three branches until yes, thank you. We are angry. If you're here, yeah, we are live on the radio. What's up, GCPR? TNathan here. Sorry about that for the technical delay, but we are now connected, and yeah, I'm ranting. So if you missed the first part of my rant, stay a little while. You'll get the rest of it. Um, greetings, everybody just joining us. And this is T Nathan, and you're listening to Conversations with T Nathan. Um, I also realized that the difference in our so-called enemies and our so-called we don't have a movement. Let's go ahead and say that. Let's go ahead and put that out there. We don't have a movement because you're not willing to listen to anybody who succinctly actually talks about the movement or actually has plans to have a movement. You all don't. We don't have a movement. We have a bunch of people that want to run around and look like leaders and have never read their way out of a revolutionary manual. We have people that are my what's up, fiddle faddle? No, no, crunch and munch. But we don't. That's what I am beginning to realize ever since November the 5th, that all of y'all just pay lip service to movements. We don't have a movement. It amazes me. I'll be in Selma on March the 6th through the 9th. And I made a video talking about why. And I realize that most people don't have the attention span to watch a video all the way through before they comment. And I look at the fact that no one really commented on the question I asked or statement I made in the video. Nobody, I realize how many people don't know who Jimmy Lee Jackson was. I realize that most people don't know anything about Bloody Sunday as much as they talk about Selma, as many movies as they've watched on Selma. You just don't know. And it just distresses me that this is the basis of what you all call a movement to fight. The Republicans have whooped your asses. The Republicans have shown the flaw in the demonstrated that most of you all are happy with the oppression. You just want a few more crumbs. You are willing to sell out anybody that is not you for a few more crumbs. You are willing to swallow the oppression. All that talk about democracy and all that talk about threats. Yes, y'all are bullshitting yourselves. You are too divided and someone to just get clout without work. Right, Jazzy? What's up? Greetings, salutations over there on YouTube. And most of y'all will leave when I say these things. I understand that. But say, you all want to be comforted. You all want to have you don't even want to have solution conversations. You just want to have conversations which you appear that you want to be demonstrably pseudo intellectual. Most of y'all are not going to bust a grape in a fruit salad when it comes to a revolution, because you have shown me you're not. You have shown me. Most of you all, and the ones that do, you all have this idea you don't need leadership, or you're running around here twiddling your thumbs, thinking you're doing something because I'm giving it to the man. Yeah, that's not giving it to the man. Any individual can be put down. Any individual can be put down, especially individuals that have no clue about the system they're fighting. I read so many of these people, and they'll tell me, "Well, I'm doing this," and I'm like, "You're not doing anything." And they get mad at me. I say, "You're not really doing anything. You're doing that for you, your edification, but your movements are not in alliance with a war. Your movements are not in alliance with an organized movement. Your movements are just about you. They're just about you. You want to be perceived. You want to feel good about something you did. You're not doing anything because you're not listening to what is the plan. What is your plan? If you want to do something and really have an input, go up to the top of a water tower in one of these towns and that have abused marginalized groups. Make a name for yourself because strategy, y'all don't have a strategy. You have these individual things that you want to do that have no impact because you have no strategy. You're out here like a dog chasing their tail, and you're not, and don't even realize it's your tail you're chasing. And everybody is in the opposition is looking at you like, well, they're just chasing their tail. They're loud and barking, but they're not really doing anything to stand up to us. But you're happy chasing your tails. You're happy. I watched I watched a bakery that basically and people like oh and you all have these ideas you have to like somebody to understand the oppression that is based and rooted in their color or their marginalized status. So Whoopi Goldberg's birthday came, and the bakery that she went to at first to get the pastries for, they refused her service in her name. They refused her service, and that it's no other way to slice it. They refused her service because of her politics. Yeah, that because when somebody else called and had the same order, they got the service. All the excuses they got the service. The ovens, the orders, all that, the same number, everything, they got the order. And then when Whoopi talks about it, let's get this. Whoopi didn't even name the name of the bakery. Didn't even name it when she talked about it. But the bakery, they exposed themselves. So a hit dog will holler. The bakery exposed themselves. Whoopi, if you go back and look at what Whoopi Goldberg said, she never mentioned the bakery. Never. But they exposed themselves. But you know what the far right did? You know what the far right did? They swooped in. They swooped in and man and spent their money doing what they believed in. Why I got people over here talking about, well, I don't Whoopi got this and she makes this much and she not really. What did it have to do with the fact that they refused her based upon her beliefs, her political beliefs? No one ever said she didn't have the money to pay for the order. No, she wasn't asking for the order. The left are not fighting the way the right do, and I don't even call it the left because I'm not on the left. I'm intolerant. Yes, I don't know where I don't even fit into that equation because I am intolerant of oppression, and I just do with people who make play lip service to be intolerant with it or make or just talk about this rhetoric, and then when it comes down to it, they're not doing what they say they would do. The right doesn't fight dirty. The right just fights. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. See, I think it's the cliches that also bother me in this equation because a fight, I don't know, maybe my grandmother and my ancestors always taught me that if you're fighting, there is no such thing as dirty or fair. It's a fight. It's a fight. They don't fight dirty. They believe in what they're fighting for and they fight it by any means necessary. We just say that. We just say we fight by any means necessary. We are given to these bouts of clicheism. Yeah, excuse me, Bella took my towel. And we're given to these bouts of clicheism that don't address the issue. They don't fight dirty. They fight. They have long-term strategies. They fight. They waited 50 years fighting Roe versus Wade, and they won. They spent 50 years fighting, and I've always said it. I've always said it. I've been watching people talk, and I realize the same people that invite these MAGA supporters or these onto their panel, they're not smarter than them. And that's the saddest thing. I watch people try to have discussions discussions with MAGA supporters, and I realize you all think you all have the IQ. You all don't have the IQ points to keep them in check. You don't. You don't know facts. Facts don't roll off the top of your head. They have talking points, and you all can't even eviscerate talking points. But you think you did something. Yeah, I can cuss them out and eviscerate their talking points all at the same time. Ad hominems all the way. Yeah. That's why they come to y'all lives, because they get platforms with their stupid ass talking points, and you don't can't eviscerate them. The idea of dates, times, historical perspectives, political acumen don't have. Yeah, I said it. A lot of these people don't have it. I have sat and watched. I have sat and watched you all be eviscerated by a talking point. I watched this guy get eviscerated by tariffs because he didn't know how to succinctly explain and counter the arguments of what tariffs were. And I just sit there and like laughed my ass off. Because these are the people, these are also the people that had 225 people in their lives, like saying go. And I was like, go where? Go where? Y'all didn't win this. You didn't win this argument. If you were in a debate, if you were in a debate situation, you would have lost. You would have not taken home the trophy. Or they'll say something. Or number one, you have invited yourself into these conversations, and then you'll say something dismissive like, "You, why are you here?" And I'll be like, "Cause you invited them here." I mean, I just start there. Why are you here? Why you invited them on your panel? What do you mean? Why they there? And now they're finna run rings around you, and I just be laughing. I used to go in and try to save them. I don't do that anymore. I don't do it anymore because I realize you shouldn't be holding panels if you don't know the topic well enough to be talking about it. Just like these discussions on black men. I don't go to those panels anymore because I realize you all are not talking about black men. You all are talking about the man you fucking. Oh, I was supposed to save that for 32 minutes. Hopefully, ducking. Yeah, y'all are not talking about black men protecting black women. You're talking about the little boy that you made the mistake of not listening to any red flags, and now you're superimposing it into every black man you meet. Yeah, you're not talking about the 72% of black men who stood by your side. You're focusing on the 22% of black men that you're fucking. I'm not gonna make it. I'm going to be fired on my day off. And don't worry, I'm not also depending on anybody on the left to pay any FCC fines. I have a good boss named Thomas DeVillen. Yes, that I can count on. I'm not counting on anybody to make a tip jar or anything. Not counting on it because if I was Rush Limbaugh, the right would be rushing in. They filled his coffers, and then they have the nerve to say that because we come to them and ask them for things, it's like, oh, you shouldn't be making money, but you want us everywhere, but you don't. You want us to combat this, but you don't want us to eat. Yeah, I made a GoFundMe, and I don't even like GoFundMe. I put a GoFundMe up for my trip to go to document the 60th anniversary of the Selma March. 60th anniversary of the Selma March is taking place March 6th to the 9th. If you want to join, it's a historical event. And I listen to all these people talk about Voting Rights Act. I listen to all these people talk about it. But this is the 60th anniversary of Selma. And we're going there and we're going to document it. And I'm going, regardless if you all help or not. I'm going to be there because it's important enough to be there. But not only am I going to be there, I'm going to take people with me to document it. I'm going to reach out to youth, and that's what it's all about. Trying to get you, because most of y'all I give up on. I'm going to do that because that's the only thing I see that is going to be viable. Going to be viable. What's up, Metal? Metal's going. Metal is going, and I'm gonna say this, Nick, and don't be offended, don't be mad, because I know how you are. You like to do things in the background and all that. But this is the thing. Metal is not just a talkivist. As a matter of fact, he's the opposite of a talkivist. He and his family do the work at no time. At no time is it any doubt that they're doing the work, um, and it's appreciated. I also want to take the time to say it's appreciated because 99% of the people that tell me they're going to be there are never there. Never there. They just talk about being there. They're never there. I watched a racist bigot, one-legged white man who tied his boat to a dock in the middle of a hurricane, has freely slung around the N-word, has disrespected people, and he raised $47,500 on a GoFundMe page. Make that make sense. We watched in real time because they support their own. They support their own. They were like, yeah, yeah, that's right. That sounds like a good idea. Tying your to boat in the middle of a hurricane that you sailed from a safe port to another port to what? And right now he don't have a boat or anything. But he has 40. He did make $46,000 for it. But you all are the first people to talk about you want a movement. Movements take finances, and you don't finance a movement. You don't. Like I was telling you about the Whoopi story. The right turned out for that bakery. All those white tears worked. They turned out, gave them, they had the best day on record, and then they turned around and had the best week on record. People showing up with their MAGA hats, talking about Whoopi Goldberg, and Whoopi Goldberg never mentioned the name of the bakery. And then I see you all, and then it's like after November 5th, everyone's running around here talking about, we're just buying black. We're going to buy black. What does that look like? What does that look like? I really want to know what that looks like because you all will not do any investigation on the same companies you're saying you're only buying black from. I was watching people. I was watching this one girl say this, who literally I look and see because I'm stupid. I do research, and I just was watching this one girl. She was talking about, "Oh, we're gonna buy black, and we're only gonna do this." So she had a TikTok shop. She's in the TikTok shop, right? And so I looked at some of the items in the TikTok shop that she was, advertising, um, and I came to the wig company. And I was like, she's advertising the wig company in her TikTok shop. Because this is the same woman saying we're only going to buy black. And I look at it and I was like, I knew the name of the wig company, of the hair company, as soon as I saw it. Because basically I did a video on them talking about they were Asian owned, a Korean company, and they had issues. They did a blackface representation in one of their ads. And I was like, how is this working out? How's this working out? Because most of y'all just pay lip service to the reality of the situation. And also, where's this idea of black capitalism and the way you all think of it is supposed to save us from racism and oppression? How is that working out for you? Because if you really want to get real about it, talking, I can, and not just talking about the Greenwood District of Tulsa from 1921, because we're not going to just talk about that incident, right? But there have been self sufficient black communities in this country ever since we've been in this country. Wilmington, Rosewood, Elaine, Arkansas. These places that any time that racist white men and women got ready, they burned them to the ground. But they were self-sustaining. I did a video talking about Mount Bayou in Mississippi, a self-sustaining black town that really came to prominence. If you know anything about the Emmett Till, Mamie Till story, because that's where when the black reporters came to town to Money, Mississippi, and they came there to cover the Emmett Till story, they couldn't stay at the hotels because they were white only. So they trekked out to Dr. Howard's house because he basically had turned my bayou in a place where they were welcome. So they had to trek out there to stay and then drive back to the trial every day. But Mount Bayou is on the decline and has been on the decline because of lack of black investment. Yeah. Yep. That is the reality of the situation. So when I see you all talk about these things and I'll be like, just watching, y'all not serious. Um, I came to the realization, I talked one time about why mediocre white people on this app have millions of followers because they what they do is a stretch. You still have family in Mount Bayou, Shay? That's good. I talk about why mediocre white people on this app have such a large following because they make other mediocre white people feel comfortable in their mediocrity. I watched this couple, this black couple, and they're professional dancers. And the routines they do just in everyday places are spectacular. But they don't have the following of a Charlie D'Amelio. They don't even have my following. And I'm not even sure I have my following. Yeah, I'm convinced most of my following died sometime in between 2000 and they just haven't deleted their accounts. Yeah, they are amazing, but they're not mediocre. They're not mediocre, and they also don't have that je ne sais quoi associated with mediocrity because even when we come to issues like, and I could mention a bunch of names of people you all follow, as far as for social justice issues, and I can also tell you I've never seen any of them in any protests I have been at. The ones I can name that I see at, like U.S. Army Overlord or Riggs. Riggs was with me. Jay, my brother Jay, was with me in Washington D.C. In Washington D.C. They were there to make sure that when we got thrown off the steps, that TNathan, they made sure, well, we're gonna be safe. We're gonna get out of here. They were safe. Jolly. Jolly has been with me in Oklahoma when we were freeing Julius Jones. You know, it's there. Metal has come and helped me feed those who happen to be homeless, and he drives. That's what I'm saying. These are the people, but these are not the people you all listen to. You all listen to these people that I have never seen anywhere, and I have been a lot of places. I was in Minnesota, and you can go back and look at the videos. This is the thing about me. People are like, why you? I film them so I can talk about being there. Yeah, I was there. I was there. I wasn't just giving lip service. I was there. I was in Oklahoma. Yeah, I was in Oklahoma. I was there. I was in Georgia after Ahmaud Arbery was shot. I was there. Yeah. So these people you all talk to and follow, they're not there. As a matter of fact, their idea of a protest is just walking down the street to the courthouse. Mm. After the at the real protests, you don't see them. You don't see them. I have protests with their fires burning in the background. In the back, when we were at line 3 in Minnesota, when the federal government was enforcing a pipeline through indigenous territory that was also damaging the water supply, we were there. We were there in violation of my parole at the time. But y'all continue to listen to people who are selling you a bill of goods for nothing. You all continue. You all continue to support people who are not supporting anything about a movement. Continue to follow people who couldn't lead their way out of a wet paper bag. Continue to follow people whose idea of leadership is to lead you up Hamburger Hill. And they're going to be actually not leading you, they're going to be behind you, pushing you up Hamburger Hill. The idea of taking to the streets like they do in Georgia or like they did in South Korea today is foreign to them. They're going in our communities, in every marginalized community, the enemies in those communities are not just the conservatives in those communities, but is the moderates who sell you all out. Black revolutionaries, LGBTQ revolutionaries, all other revolutionaries, they only want to listen to them when they dead. Harvey Milk had the right idea, but now we have all movies and all this now because they didn't listen to him when he was alive. Medgar Evers, way more than Martin Luther King. Fred Hampton, 21 years old. But now we talk about those people in their death, but you didn't follow them in life. You didn't. So yeah, I got just watching that today. Yeah, I'm soap boxing. Yep, soap boxing. That's what I'm doing. And then the movie I'm playing tonight is called Farming. And if you want to join, and I know I was gonna do Alex Cross. We did Alex Cross last night, but the movie I'm doing tonight in bootleg theater after the show is called Farming, and it's from Nigeria, and it's about how Nigeria, the British farmed out Nigerian children to English couples, and it was called Farming. And yeah, but do I expect a lot of people to get the meaning of it? No, because it's not soft and easy. It's a hard emotional roller coaster to watch what has actually been done. And I'm not talking about going back 400 years. This practice continued into the 2000s. But hey, just as long as you all feel safe and comfortable in your oppression, everything's all right. Everything's all right. I am, and someone asked me why. Someone asked me last night. They said, "Oh, why are you bitter?" No, I'm not bitter. See, this is the thing, right? This is the thing you all fail to realize. Radicals are going to be all right if you listen or not. We're going to be all right because we will take all that energy that we usually turn outward and turn it into just protecting those we care about by any means necessary. Because once you have shown me you don't care about your oppression, that you're comfortable in your oppression, then you have basically shown me that you are okay with your oppression and you will fight anybody who actually tries to liberate you. It used to be a time that I would fight for those who didn't fight for themselves. And I'm not talking about those who can't. I'm still going to always fight for those who can't fight for themselves. But this unconditional, and some of you all are going to benefit because I'm going to fight anyway. But I'm not coming to your rescue anymore. Not without conditions. Yeah, not without conditions. Because at the end of the day, a lot of you all have shown us that you will sell out true revolutionaries. A lot of you have shown that. A lot of you all have shown me that that does not mean anything to you. You just want a few more crumbs from Master's table, and you're happy with it. You're happy with it. What did I just miss? I know uh, they're the same people who Moses freed that want to go back to the comfort of life of slavery. The same people who didn't realize the freedom of the wilderness that were rushing back to the comfort of their oppressor. I'm not even advocating the Moses route. I'm telling you, we don't have to leave. We could just take what we want from the oppressor. But before you all will do that, you all will continue to fill the oppressor's cup and complain that you're thirsty. You will continue to fill the oppressor's cup while claiming that you're thirsty. You remind me of every movie you see that really tells a story of the enslavement of people, and the enslaved always say, "Master, we sick." No, we not sick, Master. You sick, and you might want to do something about it, cause I'm going home. You sick. We not sick. We not sick. Told you. Nat Turner is my idol, not Dr. King. Yeah. But I also realize as I watch that this, I guess, is not the time for Nat. This is not the time for Nat because Nat would have had to unalive too many people that look like him to get to Master. Nat would have had to unalive too many people that looked like him to get to Master because they would be fighting. Don't mess up. Don't mess it up, Nat. We good here. They could treat us worse. I will tell you, next year, a lot of you all that are comfortable right now, you all might get it then. A lot of you all that closetly went in there and voted the way you all did while giving lip service to y'all don't like this and y'all don't like that, y'all gonna get what you get. This man literally made a true social post that I made a video about. That he basically told him, if you all either release the hostages. He pulled the Ronald Reagan. He pulled the Ronald Reagan. See, this is what I talk about when I talk about history, and I can pull these things off the top of my head, and you all be in lives with people who don't even know Ronald Reagan's son's name. But I digress. But he pulled the Ronald Reagan when Ronald Reagan told Iran that when during the Iranian hostage crisis, and he told them, say, "Hey, you got to I take office to release the hostages, right?" But see, this is the difference in that situation. Those hostages were in Iran. Those hostages were, localized in a place that a failed military rescue plan happened under Jimmy Carter. But they were in a place. You tell these people that you all have been killing civilians at an alarming rate and blaming it on the fact that they are hiding behind civilians. You telling them the same people that asked you to save those people, you basically said, "No, we're not listening to you. We're going to unleash." I want to quote him. I want to quote him. Let me pull up the True Social post that he made. I want to quote this because it is too rich. All right, this is your president elect who will be taking office on January the 20th, on his True Social post. Everybody is talking about the hostages who are being. Now, I'm going to read this, but understand his idea of punctuation and actual punctuation are not in the same realm. So there will be run on sentences and all. I can try to do it in breaths, but I have to apply punctuation to some of this just so I can breathe as we talk. All right. Everybody is talking about the hostages who are being held so violently, inhumanely, and against their will of the entire world, period, in the comment in the Middle East. But it's all talk and no action. Explanation point. Please let the truth serve to represent that if the hostages are not released prior to January 20th, 2024, the date that I proudly assume office of President of the United States, there will be all hell to pay in the Middle East. And for those, and there was no period there also. And for those in charge who perpetrated these atrocities against humanity, period, I don't know. That's just hanging there. Those responsible will be hit hard. This is the part I want you to listen to. Those responsible will be hit harder than anybody has been hit in the long and storied history of the United States of America. Release the hostages now. Now, I made a video on this because I wanted to key on that last part where he said, "For those responsible will be hit harder than anybody has been hit in the long and storied history of the United States of America." Did anybody tell him that on August 6th and August 9th of 1945, the United States dropped a nuclear device on Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Does that count as some of the hardest hit in this long storied history of this country? I was listening and I said, so if which one is it? I mean, hyperbole is only good for so long. After a while, hyperbole becomes um, unobtainable. But this man literally said they're going to be hit. So what does that mean? Because Hiroshima and Nagasaki were over between 150,000 200,000 people were killed in those blasts. So you're talking about hitting them hard. Who exactly are you hitting hard? You're talking about sending American troops into Gaza? Make this make sense. Are you talking about sending American troops into Gaza? Are you talking about hitting them harder than has ever been hit? Anybody has ever been hit in the storied history of this country? Can somebody tell me which one we're talking about? Because you got to be talking about one, right? Yeah, I know we're not talking about negotiation. I thought so. I thought so. Um, Dora Milaje? Any Dora Milaje in here? I know Reese came and probably left. Any moderators in here? All right, Jazz. I'm I'm going to. Yeah, okay. I know. There's my chief of security. Um, we're going to start the movie in about 7 minutes. I'm going to stop ranting now because it really doesn't no good. Um, we're gonna start the movie in about 7 minutes. I'm going to open up the Twitch stream here in a little while. Just wanted to know, but yeah. Any questions? Anybody have any questions? Anything to add to anything I said? I think I hold a panel discussion. Oh, sometimes I'm so petty. I think I hold a panel discussion. Yeah, that'll draw y'all out. What should be the topic? Um, what should be the topic of a panel discussion that will get any interaction? Let's say we'll talk about the fact that I don't even know. I'm so petty that I don't even know a petty topic to talk about. That I don't. I don't. Could I know I could talk about myself, right? Maybe would that do it? I can hold a live and charge $20 for secrets on TNathan. I'm gonna tell you that would be yeah that would be a short live, especially when Google is free. Google is free. Yeah, that'd be a short live. Um, But I don't know. I don't know what to do to get interaction from people that say they want interaction. I know, I know. Maybe if I stop hurting people's feelings, probably not gonna happen. Probably not gonna happen. I love Metal Melter to death, but I know I hurt his feelings when he be talking about cars, and I don't even look. I just say while I'm looking at my phone. I know that he'll be talking about cars, and I'll be like, yeah, sure, yeah. Oh, one more thing before I leave. Do you know if you know who Ryvan is? Ryvan is an electric EV car company, right? As a matter of fact, they're EV. They make EV vehicles, electric vehicles, right? And um, Biden is so petty. It is so petty on the because they just authorized the Department of Energy to give a $6.8 billion loan to Riven. And Riven is Elon Musk's chief competitor when it comes to corporately supplied electric vehicles. Amazon uses Riven vehicles, right? Now, Riven was also taking losses per EV they were building because of plant operations. So the on the way out the door, the Department of Energy is going to give them a $6.8 billion loan to offset their plant designs for their Georgia plant. And I just thought that was so funny. See, I just think things like that are so funny to watch. Just like I think people getting bent out of shape about Joe Biden pardoning his son, they're so funny. I had somebody in my comment section when I was talking about it, and they were like, "Well, are you championing the fact that Joe Biden is above? He's showing you he's above the law?" I said, "What country have y'all lived in your life?" This whole discussion that there are not people above the law in this country is so stupid to me. Like people coming across it like, "Oh, people are above the law." Yes, people are above the law in this country. Black people have been lynched in our history in this country, and nobody has paid any prices for it. And you ask me, do I know people are above the law in this country? Yes, and they didn't even have to know a lot of people. Yeah, you could best believe. You could best believe, short of my son doing something that is morally reprehensive, like essaying somebody or messing with. Hey, look. I don't even understand people like, well, Joe Biden lied to us. No, 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 no. See, this is what you do, and I want to tell you this. I'm gonna tell you what you misunderstood. Joe Biden said the president of the United States, as president, he was not going to pardon Joe Biden, Hunter Biden. It was always a question people were asking when you going. He says, as president of the United States, I'm not pardoning. But as a father, any father who heard that be like, I don't care what he say. I know that he pardoning his son as soon as he gets the opportunity. Let's see, he just better than I would have. Because you would ask me that question, I say, hell yeah, I'm gonna pardon my son. I just haven't decided when. See, you all are funny to me. This man wasn't gonna pardon his son, then gonna nerve to say. And then don't get me wrong. If while he did that, and I'm not surprised, what I would like to see him do is on the way out the door, I can give him a list of like 3,000 people that are in federal prison on drug charges related to possession of marijuana that I like to see him pardon on the way out the door. There, I would like to see him pardon on the way out the door. Yeah, that's it. If he did that, and people are like, oh, this messes up his legacy and everything, Joe Biden about to die. He don't care. I think people believe people care about their legacy more than they do when they're dead. No, unless you know something about death, I don't know. Then Joe Biden is like, I'm saving my son on the way out the door. I'm not leaving him at the hands of the next administration. And then people got mad. And then people got mad and talked about, well, he pardoned him for everything going back to what could possibly come up from 2014. That's why it's called a pardon. You want to make sure that he's protected. And who is actually surprised by this? I just want the people who are actually surprised by this to report front and center so I can laugh in your face. I just want to know. Why do you think Joe Biden? Why do you think Hunter Biden went into that trial in California on those 9 tax evasion charges, and at the last minute changed his plea to guilty? Why did you think that in September, after Joe Biden was no longer in the election? Why did you think Hunter took the pled guilty to 9 charges of tax evasion? Like they wouldn't have done the same. That's a long time ago. Long time ago. But I asked people that question, Jazzy. I said, why would you think he did that? You mean to tell me he took him to court on the gun charges, but he just went in there and just said he went in there because Daddy already told him, said, son, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The pardon already signed, and I'm just waiting for put a date on it. You and the people were talking about, yeah, yeah. I was like one of those people. If I would have wrote Joe Biden any kind of note, I would have been like, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm about to go. I'm opening up. Let me open up. Dun, dun, dun. I'm opening up the Twitch stream, but I'm gonna tell you, I agree with Anna on the View. She said every time she saw Joe Biden, she told him, "Pardon your son, pardon your son." What you waiting on? Pardon on your son. All right. So say good night to the radio, sir. Good night, GCPR. This is TNathan signing off. My chief of security just reminded me to sign off. I am signing off. I will holler at you all later. If you want to watch the movie, we'll be on Twitch in about 2 minutes. And if you don't have a VPN, I'll see you here tomorrow night on TNathan time. I can't even call it colored people time anymore because I am. Am I later than most black people even? All right. Talk to y'all later. All right. Thank you, Chief of Security, because I would have just let it stay. Let me make sure. Let me make sure I cut it off this time. Your live is not eligible for recommendation restriction because your live does not comply with For You feed standards under our community guidelines. The discussion, drugs, or other related. Yeah, they just told me my live had been restricted because I was talking. What drug was I talking about? I don't know. But there it is. We're going to sign off and go in. And like I say, tonight's movie is Farming. And yeah, they just told me my live was restricted. Um, so there is that. All right. I will see you all tomorrow night. And if you all are joining me, Twitch will be opened as soon as I shut this down. All right. Thank you for joining me tonight. Conversation.